Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth, into Power Rangers. Got the Shout Factory box set in my hands yet again. Talking about Season 2, Episode 21 of Mighty Morphin, or Episode 81 of the show overall. This one's Zedd's Monster Mash. It premiered on October 28th in 1994. I'd see this one as it premiered after school. This was a couple days before Halloween, and I would see it with pals. I didn't get to see a lot of these episodes from season 2 as they premiered, but I did try to catch as many as I could. It's one of my all-time favorite Halloween-centric episodes because in this one we get to see Lord Zedd resurrecting monsters from the past. There are no illusions as they were in Orchestral Maneuvers in the Park a few episodes back. They are all too real in this episode. And I think it's the first episode in which we hear mention of the peace conference. Billy's worried about how the peace conference is going to affect the Ranger team if Rangers are selected to go. Unbeknownst to 11-year-old me, Twee Trang, Austin St. John, and Walter Jones, they'd already left the show. I jumped on board the franchise about four and a half months prior to when this episode would premiere. So I'd already gotten pretty attached to the original red, yellow, and black Rangers, respectively. But I was pretty excited to meet the new kids when they started showing up and participating, as we're going to start talking about in the next episode. But yeah, I don't think I remember TV announcer guy as the Rangers were in the youth center in previous episodes. I don't think I remember him talking about the peace conference. No blah, 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 whatnot, yakety schmackety, peace conference, anything like that blaring over the TV as they would watch it. I think Billy actually mentions it here in this episode first. I'm trying to go back and rewatch some of the older episodes just to see if I might have missed it. We get to see the Rangers taking a bunch of kids trick-or-treating, community outreach program, all that good stuff. Zedd says Halloween is a holiday he can really sink his teeth into. And he's going to separate Tommy from the others, send him to his dark dimension, a haunted forest within the dark dimension, actually. So I'm wondering if this is a new location that we haven't seen yet, or if it's still, the dry ice that we've seen in the dark dimension. I don't know. Anybody who does, let me know in the comment section if this is a new location, if we actually got to see some spooky forest within the dark dimension, because there are no audio description tracks with these older episodes. I don't really think there are any audio description tracks for Power Rangers, actually, because it's an older show and there's just so much ground to cover with audio description. I like when Goldar mentions that maybe they should send a monster down to infiltrate the Rangers party. He's probably thinking of the Frankenstein monster from Life's a Masquerade way back in season 1. I bet he loved that bit. But Zedd's going to do his own thing and resurrect past monsters, which I loved in this episode, by the way. I liked, as I always do, and I always did when I was a kid, Paul Schrier and Jason Narvy as Bulk and Skull. My friends, I remember them yucking it up when Bulk did his thing with the Red Hots. Man, I'd give quite a lot for an audio description track of Bulk and Skull's antics. I'm sure they really made a lot of kids laugh. I laughed even though I couldn't see them because of the cartoony sound effects and the dialogue and all that good stuff. So we get to see Putty's shape-shifting in this episode, which I loved. I wonder if Lord Zedd got the idea because Bulk and Skull were talking about the Power Rangers. Well, maybe they have the ability to shrink. And maybe they're disguising themselves as kids. So that's Bulk and Skull's, we're going to find out who the Rangers really are scheme in this episode. They're going around yanking the helmets off of kids. And I think they actually get beaten up by an old lady at one point in the episode. It really made me laugh back in the day when seeing it on premiere day. And yeah, we get to see Putties disguised as kids. They don't say anything, although Putties can speak English when they are disguised, so it really would have been cool if some of them had talked to Tommy rather creepily, like, yeah, we can't wait to party with you, or something like that, or we're going to get you, I don't know, some kind of creepy kid dialogue that would have, made the episode a bit more spooky, but they didn't say anything, of course. And eventually, we get to see Goldar showing up, and Tommy's transported to the Dark Dimension. I bet you there were some pretty creepy kid moments with the Putties in disguise. I don't know what costumes they wore. Probably little Power Ranger costumes. I don't know. It was all the rage in 94 and 95, I bet. 93 as well. think I went as a pirate in 1994. All the Power Ranger costumes were sold out. So it was a Pirate Ranger, I guess. I loved all the monsters showing up in this episode, especially Doomstone. Yes, I wish Hasbro would make that. He'd make a really cool Halloween-themed monster in the Lightning Collection. We already got Pumpkin Wrapper, but I bet Doomstone looked pretty cool. I loved him in that episode of Power Rangers Hyperforce, the tabletop gaming season that we got a couple years ago. Actually, more like, 5 years ago now? Yeah, but he was really cool in this episode. He resurrected, who all did we get? Pumpkin Wrapper, of course, Rhino Blaster, Snizzard, Invisible Flytrap, Primitar, however you want to say his name. And did I already say Robogoat? Yeah, quite a few of them. I wonder if I'm missing any. Really cool menagerie of monsters here in this episode. And Tommy's Morpher has been taken, so it's kind of a tough fight for him, but I think he probably fares pretty well. And I liked how they wrote what Jason, Trini, and Zach were up to. Yeah, they're at the elementary school with some younger kids, and yeah, you guys are on your own here. So you had Billy and Kimberly morphing into action. They pinpointed Tommy's location in the dark dimension there. Alpha had to go to the elementary school and help out the younger kids, so Jason, Trini, and Zach could morph into action. And we heard new voice actors in this episode doing some ADR because, the actors were no longer there. I think I mentioned it in previous videos. There was some, there were some stand-in voice actors in, I think, Beauty and the Beast, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Park, and Missing Green. Maybe in The White Light. I don't think so, though. Oh, yeah, they were also in Opposites Attract and 2 for 1. So, Pumpkin Wrapper grows. That was one of my all-time favorite scenes as a kid. I remember seeing him earlier, at some point in June when I first started watching the show. And I always thought he went out pretty easily, getting blown up by the Power Blaster. So when he grew and took on the Thunder Zords, I loved that so freaking much when I watched it for the first time. And if we ever do get a Doomstone action figure, he should maybe come with some pumpkin bombs, so Pumpkin Wrapper could have a couple of additional accessories to lob. I guess you could use the half pumpkins he comes with, but I don't know. I think you need some whole pumpkins if they're going to be bombs. Yeah, it was a really cool battle. I think it's only the second time we see the Tiger Zord in action. And I loved when the Thunderbolt fired there. We got to see the Pumpkin Wrapper, of course, cut down by the Thunder Saber. Zedd's not too torn up about this defeat. He doesn't blame the minions in this episode. So, yeah, he's taking it all right. And at the end of the episode, got to give it to Paul Schrier and Jason Narvy. They make the most convinced I'm gonna puke noises I think I've ever heard in any TV show. When they are stuffed with candy and they're undoubtedly on their way to the bathroom, whenever you see Bulk, he gives out this oh, and it's very convincing. So yeah, everyone's laughing at their misfortune at the end of the episode. Kimberly's agging on the situation by asking them if they want more candy. They get their comeuppance from picking on the kids earlier in the episode, the little kids. So, yes, Vulcan Skull, you were right to be laughed at the end of this episode. Although, sorry, you're feeling quite nauseated. Anywho, next time we're going to be starting the Ninja Encounter 3-parter, one of my all-time favorite miniseries from Mighty Morphin. So be here for that, even though it's April. Happy Halloween, and I'll hear you guys next time. May the power protect you.